Welcome back, everybody, to EU Masters. I'm Munchables. I'm joined by Kadril as we head into the second game of this series. And well, it was a banger of a first game, and SuppUp showing that they are a team to be feared coming into the quarterfinals. And I think, Kadril, we're just going to start straight off and talk about twohoyrz. We said he was going to be like the star child for this team. He was the one that had to pop off. Well, he had a performance and a half right here today.
Yeah, I think he was, him, VZZ, and Mersa stand out to mind to like the biggest carries. I feel like he had so much impact on the map. He was always where he needed to be, and he always used his TPs either for a cross-map play like this to pick up a kill in a 1-for-1 trade, or in this kind of play. Look at the back of the fight. He's TPing to make sure there's no kind of turn potential for the side of K-Corp, making sure he's there for the fights. And although they were winning the 3v3, you don't really know if there could be a TP from the Renekton, a TP from the Orianna, just making sure that the plays are secure. And the damage he was doing was just completely disturbing. Like, what am I watching? Like, he's dead.
The Q must have done like 550 damage there. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, a beautiful performance. That's the thing about Syndra. When you lock this champion in, if you get an early lead like that, you will just take over the game. And when the rest of the team is setting you up like that, when Mersa is doing such a good job to soak absolutely everything, get the CC down, it means that twohoyrz can do whatever he wants during these fights.
Yeah, and I think that they were smart in leaving last pick for twohoyrz. He picked Syndra into the Orianna, and not only did he pick it into the matchup that he probably had comfort in, he's also denying the rel engage with the stun. He's also denying the Renekton flashing in and one-shotting his AD carry, because you have the stun, you have the CC, something with more teamfight prowess to buff up this Jinx and help it out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see K-Corp take away something like the Jinx, perhaps, which is it's so annoying because it can win lane, especially if you're playing topside, and in late game team fights just has way too much range for you to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a bit of a rinse and repeat on the bans so far, at least from the side of SuppUp with those two jungle bans. One second. Nocturne, Thresh, Tristana,
Seraphine now
by KC. And yeah, Seraphine was the one from game number 1. So, we talked about it in the game. Do you think this is a rinse and repeat here for K-Corp? Do you think that they were happy with the composition? The answer is no.
That's what I like to see. That's what I call a change-up. That's what I call a switcheroo. Screw the Renekton, we're gonna go scaling. Just first picks the Jinx. I thought they would ban it, but the first pick is fine too. Now I'll have to see what VZZ wants to pick into it. We've seen things like Samira, Sivir, but I think these champs are actually pretty poor into the Jinx. I think the Varus is a good answer. We'll have to see if he wants to play it, but now SuppUp are the ones saying, we're gonna do your job, but we're gonna do it better than you did last game.
Yeah, the old switcheroo here is klowny the one to lock in the Renekton now instead. So changing the way around. I would love to see Adam lock in the Jace. Adam, please lock in the Jace. I would just love to see the flip side of the matchup so that Adam can get a little bit of revenge for himself. That would be incredible.
Or Olaf, actually. I think flexing Olaf for K-Corp here would not be bad, especially into Renekton Alistar, but I think picking support is definitely something you'd expect, and maybe even picking jungle. There's a lot of jungle bans, Nocturne, Udyr, Hecarim, a lot of junglers are banned out. Maybe he wants to run back to... Oh, the Olaf flex. There it is. I know it's so OP. It must be broken for this team. What do you pick now if you're SuppUp that you have to match AD carry? I'm excited. Sorry, I got really pumped there because it's Olaf flex. It's so good for this team.
Analysts and getting too excited for draft. You love to see it. Yeah, we'll see where SuppUp are going to be able to go with this last pickup here. It is going to be that Nidalee. So opting into the jungler here for Spooky. Nidalee Renekton. It's a combo as old as time, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I think there's going to be looks like they're banning away the TF. I was expecting some kind of AD bans, but that TF ban makes sense, especially when you're playing up against Saken and his roaming playstyle towards sides, helping out his team a lot more. And these drafts, it's hard to say who's favorite here, because if this Olaf goes top, I think that Cinkrof can just pick a jungler and match the Lilia into Nidalee again, which he was winning out on in the early game. And then maybe they want to look for a Lucian mid for Saken. So I want to see some kind of Lucian ban from SuppUp to deny this Olaf going top with an AP jungler and an AD mid for the early game strength into the Renekton. But the Nidalee Renekton is much better setup than the Nidalee Jace. This gives a lot more potential to play towards topside. Now I'm pretty confident in saying SuppUp should definitely play towards topside this game, especially if this Olaf's going top. And the Nidalee pick, it's smart because not only does it work well with Renekton, but the pick itself actually counters Olaf in the sense, right? You can kite him out, jump over the wall if he's trying to chase you down, similar to things like the Udyr. Nidalee can just escape the Olaf in general. So it's just a good jungle counter pick, we'll call it. But it's just a good matchup in general for the Nidalees. We see mid lane bans from the side of SuppUp, denying the Orianna, denying the scaling from K-Corp, and then some kind of mid-top bans coming out here.
Yeah, so the Jace being banned because, remember, twohoyrz has played the Renekton.
It's a Renekton mid, true.
So I think intelligent from KC saying, hey, this could be a flex on the Renekton. So Olaf and Renekton, both very flexible picks for these two teams specifically. And it's going to be, by the looks of things, a Kai'Sa here for SuppUp.
But they have... So this is really interesting, because the Olaf can go top and jungle. but the Renekton can go top and mid. So now K-Corp have to show their hand, unless they have a double flex here, which I don't think they really do unless Nocturne was open, but it's not. So K-Corp's gonna have to show their hand, and then SuppUp can decide if they want to counter it. Maybe if they put Olaf top, maybe look for something like, I don't know, a Ryze top, some kind of range champion that we've seen, but K-Corp are gonna take the Ryze away, so they can't play Ryze top with the Renekton mid like they have done previously. And we'll have to see what they do. Is this Olaf going top or jungle?
That'll be the question. Ryze locked in, maybe for Saken, maybe for, I guess, Adam. We'll have to wait and see where things are going to go. Because things like the Gnar still available, remember. If they did want to send the Olaf into the jungle,
please pick it.
Zhao
I'm a Zhao one trick.
Pretty hype lock-in.
Oh, yes! Oh, Zhao. It's terrible into Nidalee, though. It's the worst matchup ever. It's so bad into Nidalee. I hate that matchup. Okay, we'll have to see what SuppUp do, though. Because Zhao could go top. I've seen in solo queue, in high-low, Zhao top, but I really doubt it. I'm guessing it's Olaf top, Zhao jungle. Now, does Renekton go mid here? I would assume it does.
Now, the hover on the pike, I don't know whether that'll actually be locked in, but I want to quickly mention. Okay, yeah, it is going to be changed. It's going to be the Syndra again for 2 hours. Gets himself the counter pick. Mersa, for anyone that doesn't know, his Twitter bio is just pike. So this guy likes it. That explains that hover, but it is going to be the Syndra for 2 hours.
Okay, so it looks like we've got Renekton into Olaf top. Now, from my experience in scrims, I've seen Olaf into Renekton top. Olaf dominates that matchup in the early game, and if he gets ahead, it's really hard for Renekton to even trade onto him, because the more you chunk him, the more he one-shots you, especially when he's got the ult up. But I want to keep my eye on the jungle matchup here, because you have a Zhao, and Zhao's farming is a lot slower than Nidalee's, and in a meta where it's a lot about farming and finding plays at the right times and bases and movement speed in jungle, I think Zhao doesn't really fit into the competitive aspect unless he can get ahead early. But the good thing is now K-Corp have a lot more late game insurance. They have a Jinx, they have a Leona, they have a Ryze. So you have side lane pressure, you have team fight, you have scaling. Not like they had last game with a poke Varus and things like the Orianna who couldn't match the side lane. So they have a lot more tools to work with if they do fall behind.
I have to say, I'm just excited to see this Olaf top from Adam. He's played it 3 times this split. He's got a 100% win rate on it. He's got just short of a 5 KDA across the course of those games as well. I'm not an expert in Olaf top. It's been seasons and seasons since I've seen Olaf top, but I am here for it. Corrupting Potion start by the looks of things here for Adam. And after game number 1, after a couple of unfortunate TPs and getting kind of murked in the mid and late game, Adam is going to be wanting revenge, and this signature pick would be the perfect way to do it. But SuppUp, looking for a cheesy little start to the game.
Munch, I am so hyped for this game. Olaf top, Zhao jungle, this is like my bread and butter. I love to see it. I love to see this aggression coming out. Now, the Olaf has to look for some kind of cheese level 1, maybe. Maybe he wants to chase down klowny, look for level 1 kill. This is a very classic play from the Olafs. Now, K-Corp, they don't suspect this at all. And if klowny walks in here, maybe Adam thinks he can go for it.
Oh, no!
Mersa's around the corner.
Already has to flash. The cheese pays off for SuppUp. They get an early flash out from Adam. All right, so good start here from SuppUp. The play works out. There is a ward, I think, dropped on Raptors there from the side of K-Corp as a minor answer, and also a ward over on the blue buff as well. So K-Corp at least getting information in response for the flash.
Yeah, really good play from K-Corp there. They see them topside. Yes, they lose a flash, but let's trade it for something. Come on, guys. There's 5 members topside. Good wards. 3 wards placed level 1 from K-Corp. 1 on the entrance, 1 here. Mersa didn't put a ward down and didn't swap the sweeper, so he won't be able to take this ward out. I think that's something that he could have done, and maybe ward their blue base and get sweeper and clear out this ward, but he's not going to do it in the end. And it looks like both junglers starting bot side again, similar to game 1. But now Adam has no flash, and now the Nidalee has a lot more setup towards the top side. So I want to see a lot of punishment towards the top side of the map. And SuppUp, they're 1 win away.
The top laners are on the wrong sides of the lane. Klowny was in the furthest.
Klowny might have
Adam,
the flash.
he's level 1 Olaf. He could just threaten kills here. The early advantage is completely down the toilet.
Oh, this top matchup's going to be so difficult for Klowny now. Adam's chunked him out fully. He used his potion as well, and he has no flash. So Adam getting the level 1 cheese off that he wanted. If he had flash there, I think Klowny might have died if he chased it. Level 1 Olaf is so powerful. So both junglers need to get up here ASAP. And look what Cinkrof has done. We talked about the farming. We talked about clearing his full whole jungle. Cinkrof skipped his whole bot side camps. He just went for red, blue Gromp. He's going to be level 3 after this Gromp. And maybe he wants to dive top while he knows Spooky will be around 20 to 30 seconds behind him because he's full clearing. So maybe Cinkrof does Gromp, runs top here and looks for an early dive on Klowny, who's chunked out, no potion, and no flash.
Yeah, that would be an unbelievable advantage. It's what Cinkrof has done time and time again, is get Adam ahead in the top side. The third wave is pushing in. Adam has the power to just crash this one. Spooky.
Look at Saken as well.
To the top side as well. Saken's coming over.
Oh, no.
We've got some action early on. Spooky spotted out by Cinkrof, who is level 3, has the double buff right here. klowny is so doomed. No flash here either. Will level up at least. Can get the stun now, but rooted underneath the tower. Axe goes in. TP from 2hourz. The play is answered by SuppUp.
Yeah, really good play from 2hourz. They got the level 2 on klowny, and then K-Corp decided not to go for the dive because they knew whoever tanks is going to probably die unless the Ryze tanks, and maybe they can shuffle it, but the TP coming in means they have to back off. But they're on a ward here. K-Corp are on a ward on this red buff. Maybe 2hourz has to flash, though.
Oh, 2hourz over the wall here. Does have Scatter the Weak, but just going to go a little bit shy on finding that one. Saken now moving over. Remember, that ward's still there, so Spooky has full information of where the enemy is. He's going to try and look for a spear, but he is also on a ward. Both teams playing with full information this entire time.
Look at K-Corp's bot lane. They're moving towards mid. Maybe they want to try and take away the crab, or look for... Oh, he reset the red! Oh, no, it's a horror!
What is happening in this early game, Cage?
Look at mid, look at mid. I think 2hourz might be dead.
2hourz doesn't have flash available. Stun there. Flame Chomps are in as well. xMatty looking for first blood here. Saken might be able to take it himself. One more auto. Anyone.
TP?
It's going to be Saken that gets it. Now a TP comes through from klowny to answer the play. Knockup going across. It's 1-for-1. klowny in onto xMatty looking for Saken instead. Mersa coming over as well. Spooky's up on the top side looking for the javelin, but flashed away from Saken. And we've got utter chaos on the Rift, Cage roll.
Yeah, everyone wants to fight everyone. This is why I love Zhao in the jungle, because as soon as you get level 3, you're walking in and creating chaos. Runs topside, tries to contest the red, resets it, is eventually going to start it up again because, you know, Spooky ran towards the bot side. And because klowny pushed out top, he TP'd bot. And now Cinkrof, he has flash though. Mersa has flash, he wants to follow it.
Flash away from the headbutt pull. That was close from Cinkrof. It's going to be, I think, one camp down. Spooky now going to try and contest
look
him on there.
Look at Targamas though. Spooky needs to be careful. He's here. Gets spotted out by the trap.
Saken's here as well. Flash away from Spooky here. Top scuttle finally won by one of our teams. It is K-Corp to get that one for themselves. There's a 400
but they want red buff still.
lead.
They want this red buff still. No one has flash in the game apart from the AD carry. So if they can find any engage, they're gonna fall. I think Spooky can get level 4, maybe off these Raptors if he's taking off mid XP. But look top, klowny gets chunked out. Look at the CS difference. All moving top again.
klowny's doomed here, I think, but I've said that before. There are 4 of them this time. Surely they can take down klowny under the tower. In they go, Cinkrof tanking, and will get the kill. 4 men strong. K-Corp finally get themselves that kill, but Spooky does get his red buff. It's complete and utter chaos for the early game, but I think the fight might finally be over.
Now, everyone might be wondering, why is this early game such a mess? And now the biggest reason is, there's 2 main reasons. The biggest one is there's a Zhao in the game. And you can see Cinkrof got 3 camps and he did nothing up until this dive top. He cleared no camps barring the top scuttle because he needs to make something happen. He needs to create chaos, he needs to make something happen on the map, because otherwise you're just going to get out-farmed. So he was looking for plays non-stop and he called his mid, he called his solo lanes with prio to start something happening. Now, once they made these plays, K-Corp had bot push as well. So their bot lane moved top after pushing in the wave and started contesting mid because 2hourz had no flash, and they want to make sure the game's fast pace and they can start punishing teams, punishing flashes, and Zhao wants to give up his camp farming to deny creeps and gold for the enemy solo laners or bot lane. In this case, solo lanes, because he has winning solo lanes, and Adam has cookies for mana, has the ult as well. klowny has no flash still though, and Adam has the flash. Saken's moving up as well.
Oh, Saken is only level 5. He's not level 6 just yet. klowny, no flash available.
Oh, no.
Slice and Dice could be there, but the root comes in, and I don't think there's any way out. The true damage from Adam. That is brutal to see. klowny just keeps on overextending here.
Yeah, we talked about this in draft. I think putting the Renekton into the Olaf is very dangerous, especially when you get the Olaf's flash level 1, but then you're still forced to flash away as klowny in the 1v1. You're still getting 3-man dove, and you're still falling behind. And this matchup is never really good for Renekton. Olaf kind of wins this matchup almost at every level, unless Renekton gets ahead, obviously. So this is only going to get worse and worse for klowny in the top side. But this is the K-Corp we expected, right? The early game aggression. They 4-5 things like Olaf, Zhao, and they have the Ryze with the mid push as well. This is full-on aggression, and they've got 3 kills already, and they're going towards the dragon.
Now, as the dragon is started by K-Corp, I don't think there is any contest coming out from SuppUp. So I want to take a second here and talk about what is at stake for these 2 teams. Because on the side of K-Corp, if they can win this series, if they can continue their run and live up to the title of favorites that everyone has been pinning to them, this would be the 3rd LFL team in a row to win the spring EU Masters. In 2019, we saw LFL win. In 2020, we saw LFL win in spring. LFL are the only region in EU Masters with more than one title right now, and it feels like K-Corp are the team that, in theory, would be the favorites to make that happen again and continue the LFL being the spring kings of EU Masters. But they're one game down in this series already. And when you look at the other side of the board as well, SuppUp, they're already making history. When it comes to the EPL, when it comes to the Balkan region, this team, this is the first time SuppUp have ever made it to quarterfinals, but for the Balkans, if they can win this game, it would be the first time the region has ever made it to semi-finals in the EU Masters.
Yeah, if they won this next game, or if they won the series, if it does go to game 3, this would be history for them, like you were saying, taking down almost the tournament favorites. This is a team K-Corp who, even Reckless said on stream, they were taking games off them in scrims. I heard lots of LEC teams were scrimming K-Corp, and they did manage to pick up wins against those teams, even beating out LEC teams in scrim sets. So this team is very strong. We saw it in the group stage. Now we need to see it in the quarterfinals. Can they turn this series around, get the next 2 wins, and progress towards the finals, towards winning the whole thing, which everyone would expect from them? But it starts with this game, and it starts with the next game. And Cinkrof, only level 5.
With success.
Wait, it starts with... Wait, hang on. Cut the tape.
Why did it say back? Why did it say back?
Now, we've seen this story before. Cinkrof taking Herald and being topside. Name a more iconic duo. Probably wants to Herald this top tower, but Adam has other plans. He's moving towards the bot side. I think he's getting maybe some honey fruit there and going back to lane. But this is almost the same story as game 1. Just the difference here is they need to pull the trigger on this dive, because this Jinx is going to be scaling. 4 members towards the bot side here. TP from Adam behind, though.
This time it's Adam answering the play, not twohoyrz. Should be able to get in on the backside. Has Ragnarok, but he's 1v3 right now. Flashes out as Mersa sacrifices himself. 4v3 now as the fight continues. Flash in onto VZZ, but he cleanses and flashes over the wall. But that's beautiful from Targamas to follow the AD carry, but he's maybe gone too far. No, he hasn't, because rockets exist. Now onto the mid laner as well, and everything's going wrong for SuppUp. In come K-Corp, and Saken gets another 6-1 on the scoreboard.
This is what I was talking about, Munch. This is how you use your TP advantage in lanes. You use it to defend your weak side. When they're making a 4-man play, save the TPs to defend the play, kill them on the play, and then go back to your strong side afterwards. Don't snowball top to the point where you get the tower. This is not going to win you the game. You need to defend your weak side. xMatty suffered last game. He didn't get any help. The TPs weren't there, but this time around, Adam's here. Saken has the global to get there as well. And when they go for this 4-man play, they get instantly punished. And this E from Targamas was just fantastic to follow him through the flash. Rocket from xMatty, flash forwards from Saken onto twohoyrz after getting rooted as well, and they clean house.
Beautiful fighting here coming out from K-Corp and managing to find a weakness, managing to find an opening that they can punish in this early game. We said it in game number 1, and I'll say it again here in game number 2. When it comes to K-Corp and how they've played in EU Masters, a lot of their wins have been accelerating through the early game, getting a lead, and then closing things out. It didn't happen in game number 1, but this time look at the mid laners. The story is reversed. It's Saken with the early kills. It's Saken that can take over.
Yeah, this is what I see from Saken. Not moving towards the top side as much. Your top side's ahead. You don't need to snowball it more. Diving this Renekton who's 0-2 and making him 0-3 and taking his tower won't win you the game. Just defend the Jinx. You can punish these plays, use your TPs, use your globals, and collapse onto the weak side. But it looks like SuppUp kind of swapped their game plan up there. Jungle support went top side to defend the top side play and maybe start playing to the opposite side instead. But Adam still winning the trades. And Mersa, once he shows on this ward, now VZZ is the one giving up bot waves. He's the one suffering on the bot side. They need to make something happen here. Adam has no flash, but he has the ultimate.
Has Ragnarok. Oh, steps into the Javelin, though. Might just get one shot. Spooky goes in. Adam still got a little bit of HP, but not anymore. Javelins will make short work of that one. Minion wave will be a little bit of a bonus as they get some time down onto the tower, but Herald dropped in the mid lane here by Cinkrof. Saken will be able to get that low. I don't know if they'll be able to quite finish this tower, but they'll, at minimum, get 4 plays.
Yeah, but look at what they're losing on the map for this top dive. Mersa was committing to the play. Spooky was committing to the play. Yes, klowny's getting plates, but xMatty's farming bot tower. Cinkrof's taking your whole bot side camps. They've got deep pink wards on your blue buff at minute 12 into the game. Your Kai'Sa's given up 3 waves. So this kill on the top side was good. Adam died. Yes, you got a kill on the Nidalee, but what did you lose for it? You've lost 4 plates mid, 4 plates bot, full bot side camps, vision, and with Dragon coming up as well. Second Dragon on the board for K-Corp at around 12-13 minutes. That's going to give them a solid around 21-22 minutes.
And this is the dream for Jinx. If you can just sit and pow away at a turret for the whole early game, that is the best case scenario. Cinkrof gets himself the Gromp, but could be in trouble himself. But in fact, they're just going to all in instead. Zap goes in, and goodbye, BZZ. This is already K-Corp's game right here as Mersa's alone in the fight. 2hoyrz will go down to Adam, and it's 4 kills out of nowhere for K-Corp and a second dragon to boot.
K-Corp are just so far ahead in this early game. VZZ didn't have the cleanse. Targamas gets the engage. Cinkrof looked like he was overextending again for the jungle camps, but they punish the lanes. They pick up bot tower, they pick up Drake. They might even pick up mid-tier 1 as well. This game is looking like a disaster for SuppUp. They don't have much late game insurance now to rely on. They don't have a Jinx. It's the enemy team who have the Jinx. Good adaptation from K-Corp to first pick that away, play towards bot side, get Adam ahead in the early game, get the TP advantage, and defend the weak side, which is now the strong side for K-Corp.
And suddenly the Ryze pick just makes infinite sense to me. I've just connected the dots here. He's blue. This is the blue wall coming out in force.
I can't believe what I just heard. Anyway.
Indeed, have a die, my friend.
Okay. Anyway, Cinkrof and Targamas turn onto VZZ and get him taken down. The TP comes in from klowny, but your whole team's dead, so he just runs away. And from there on, K-Corp pick up kills on the Ryze, on the Jinx. They outscale in every role almost. And SuppUp need to find something to get back in this game. Maybe just punish the mistakes coming out from K-Corp, perhaps, if there are any.
Look, all I'm saying, Cajal, is he's even got 3 blue items in his inventory.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay. And he's on blue side, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all added up. This is the perfect game for K-Corp. It just makes sense.
Okay, dude.
But I will say, this is a drastically different game from game number 1. We had a fairly slow early game in game number 1. This time around, K-Corp are speedrunning things. Almost a kill a minute from them on their side. 10 kills at 14 minutes here. They've got a 7,000 gold lead almost already. Everything is feeling pretty fantastic for them. As Cinkrof looks for a little bit more as well. Goes in the jungle onto 2hoyrz. He's 1v3 here as Adam finally arrives. They're going to 2v4 this one. Adam going to be forced on out, taken down by VZZ.
Huh? And
well, they did 2v4 it, just not in a good way.
They got their bot lane ahead. They need to play to the Jinx. Why are they trying to 3v5 bot side? Saken's going to die as well. He doesn't have ult. He has flash up. Maybe he can just... Nah, there's no way he gets out of this. I think they have enough CC to pick him up. The spear connects. Saken's going to fall. And that's 2 quick kills for SuppUp. Yes, they lost their top tier 1, but you have to question what Cinkrof and Adam are doing there. Your Jinx is free hitting top tower. There's no objectives bot side. There's a top tier 1. It should be clear what they're playing for. And we said SuppUp, the only real way they can come back into this game is to punish mistakes, and that's a big mistake from K-Corp to shut down going over to VZZ. And yeah, let's just check this.
I think it's fair to say K-Corp are feeling it. Like, Cinkrof is feeling himself right here. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can take this.
I mean, I respect it, but he's a full tank Xin Zhao, and Adam can't 1v4 at this point. He's level 9, so they end up getting picked off, and there's no real objective here. There's a Gromp, there's a little bit of vision, but your 8 carries hitting top tower, and there's a Herald spawning soon, so they should be playing top side. Definitely a blunder there from the top jungle of K-Corp, but not the end of the world. They're so far ahead, they're going to pick up the Herald anyway. They got to top tier 1 anyway, just they gave a shutdown over to VZZ, which was a lot of gold, and he's picked up that Kraken Slayer now.
All right, so we reset for a second, and just as we were talking about how far ahead K-Corp were, a couple of kills go the way of SuppUp, but it's important to mention, rightly as you say, VZZ finishes the Kraken Slayer, but look at the other AD carry, right? xMatty already on 2 full items here. Jinx, when you get to 3, is an absolute monster, and he's already on the horizon of that breaking point. By the time we get to sort of 25 minutes, when that soul point potentially will be in play, like, xMatty is already going to be a 3-item Jinx. That is a terrifying prospect for SuppUp fans.
Yeah, and SuppUp looked for some kind of cheese on the top side, but there was a ward that spotted them out, so Targamas and Matty push in mid and move towards top side, cover Saken in case he gets 3-manned on this top rush, and they should be able to keep the top push. Adam's pushing out mid, and K-Corp have full control here. Herald drops from Cinkrof. Looks like they want to go for the mid tier 2. Saken's probably going to push out and move towards mid, secure this mid tier 2, and just keep SuppUp in their base. Take their jungle camps, take full vision in their jungle, and keep these waves pushed in.
Herald charges in the mid lane here. That will be the tower going down, so another advantage for KC here. Drake not up for another minute and a half as klowny threatens an all-in, but look where Saken is in the meantime. This is going to be another tier 2 being threatened on the top side of the map, and SSU, it doesn't feel like they have a way to actually start these fights, or a way... To be honest, even if they start the fight, I don't think it's a fight that they can win. I think that 4v5 would go the way of KC.
Yeah, KC have full control of this game. I mean, Saken sees 5 members defending a tier 2, but there's a Herald there, and they don't have the wave clear to walk up because there's a Leona ult in their face, right? They can't walk up to clear the wave, so he just starts hitting top tower. They lose 2 towers, and SuppUp eSports, 6,000 gold down at 17 minutes. And like I said, the dragon spawning in 50 seconds. I mean, SuppUp have to find and engage. They have to flash onto Mersa, but who do you engage on? Do you flash onto Matty? What if he flashes away from the combo? You're all pretty much dead. I think SuppUp are quite short-ranged. They want to dive onto your backline. They don't have a front-to-back. They have Kai'Sa, they have Renekton, they have Alistar. They want to jump onto your backline, but the backline is way too far ahead. And they outrange them, so it's really difficult. And they need to find some kind of play over vision. Maybe deny a little bit of vision here, try and sneak behind them, look for a flank, maybe set up a death brush and try and find some kind of range that way.
I don't want to reiterate something here on how important this series is for K-Corp, but not just because of the stakes of the tournament. It's also because of how successful this organization has been in the short time it's existed. This is an org that was only created last year, and the fans for K-Corp are, I mean, I'm sure you've all seen them on Twitter already. Like, the blue wall is out in force here, and they refer to themselves as ultras. It's like a football fandom. It really is a truly strong fandom and a truly loyal fandom. So it feels like there's a lot of pressure on these players. Like, it's great when you're winning. It feels amazing to have those fans behind you, but you got to win for those fans. Like, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Every time I open up Twitter when K-Corp's playing, I can see the flags from everyone in their tweets. So I'm sure they're flying now in this game, especially because K-Corp are showing a dominant performance this time around. Every member stepping up, covering all their weak sides, making sure they snowball the game well. The only real mistake, arguably, is that bot play that Cinkrof and Adam went for. But ever since then, they've been in full control. 4 minutes, 30 seconds until the dragon spawns for the soul. And K-Corp trying to push SuppUp out of their own jungle, get some vision so their carries can push even further forwards and start maybe even sieging onto these tier 3s or look for some kind of rotation towards this bot tier 2. But Baron spawning soon, and we'll have to see how K-Corp approach these neutral objectives, because SuppUp have a really tough task ahead of them.
So, K-Draw. Now, I'm no analyst, okay? So correct me if I'm wrong here. But so far in this series, Renekton is looking kind of sus. I'm not going to lie. The blind Renekton pick, not doing it for me.
I don't think that this Renekton into Olaf was a good idea from SuppUp. If 2hoyrz has a comfortable matchup in mid, then maybe put it mid and look for some kind of counter pick top, maybe some range champion that can deal with this Olaf, because I think Renekton just isn't the answer. And it was ahead last game, and it was doing pretty well. It got the solo kill on the tower, but he wasn't able to snowball it into a big lead because the TPs were kind of useless to defend the weak side. And in the end, the Jinx was just way too far ahead to deal with for the Renekton. The Renekton's really good at denying one carry. If he's ahead, he can flash onto your backline and maybe one pop an AD carry or get a good setup engage for you, especially on a flank. But if there's too many people fed, there's really not much he can do. But this game, definitely not looking strong at all. But opting into that matchup was questionable. But in the end, does lose out. Adam on the Olaf showing up, keeping his 100% win rate. And we'll have to see how K-Corp get this Baron, because I think the interesting thing is you have the Ryze ult, so you can always just start it whenever you want. But it looks like there's a ward at the back of it. Manny spots it out, and K-Corp wants this Baron. But there's still another ward. So, SuppUp have information.
Yeah, SuppUp know what's going on, but it's kind of a similar situation to game number 1. Klowny's in trouble here, but it was all a bait. Great bait, mate. 8 out of 8 on that one. Adam dodges the Void Seeker, though. Flash going to be Klowny. Flash in further Q to finish the kill off. In the meantime, though, KC, they start this Baron off. There are 2 people on the bottom side of the map. This
is dangerous. Klowny can TP in. They need to back off here. That call is a bit too early in the game to rush that one down. And good play from VZZ. Identifying that Adam was going for the all-in. I think Adam would have won that fight, even though he was level down. I think he was going to win that kind of all-in. And that frees up the map so much. Look at SuppUp. They can walk forwards into mid. They had that ward onto Barons. They had full information of what was going on. Maybe they can pick up a mid tier 1, because I think they're going to get bot tier 1 as well. Unless Adam might want to TP behind, but it doesn't look like there are any wards. And Klowny level 30 on his Renekton. Adam level 11 on the Olaf. I don't think he'll win out on the 1v1 just yet, but Adam slowly falling behind, it seems.
Yeah, but I will say, Olaf in the later game fights with the Ragnarok, once you've got 2 or 3 items on, you're basically unstoppable. And that's going to be a problem for VZZ. It's going to be a problem for twohoyrz. Those 2 guys specifically could struggle in that situation, but it's down to how the rest of the team can play around that. We'll have to see how these fights are going to pan out. And I have to say, I'm impressed by SuppUp here, because this is a team that we've talked about accelerating games exceptionally fast. They had one of the fastest games of EU Masters this split with a 17-minute win for K-Corp earlier on. That was against Schalke in the 2nd week of the group stage. And it feels like they're a team that have been so consistent at just dominating when they get ahead. But SuppUp are doing a really good job to just stem the bleeding, at least to an extent, and hold on in this game.
Yeah, definitely holding on, punishing the mistakes coming out from K-Corp, but I think the toughest task they have ahead of them all is in 1 minute when this Ocean Drake spawns. Ocean Soul for K-Corp. Adam looks like he might want to base and pick up an item. Does cancel in the end, but they need to set up bot side. Yes, you can defend the Baron because it takes long to take it, and you can just put a couple sneaky wards, get a lot of vision, and just keep fishing for information. When it comes to the Dragon Soul, that's something you definitely need to fight. So SuppUp need to find some kind of setup to find the fight, because now you've got klowny pushing out bot, which is great. If the wave can crash to tier 1, maybe he can find a flank through the bot side of the river, but then if he gets caught out by the Ryze ult, he's gonna fall. But they need to make sure they find some kind of engage to deny this Ocean Soul. But 30 seconds on the clock. Maddie's gonna push in mid, and SuppUp look like they don't have any kind of setup. Maybe they want to trade for Baron. Looks like they're a little bit indecisive here.
All right, we've got 20 seconds until that soul spawns, and it's actually Mersa. He's meant to be the one engaging, not getting engaged upon. Forced away, and now klowny stunned up by Targamas. Just K-Corp brute forcing their way into this jungle, making sure they have complete control of the area. What's the dream scenario here for SuppUp? How do they find themselves a fight? I don't think we even have time for a question, because here we go. Adam having to use his own ult. klowny surviving here as the support is too deep. Targamas flashes back out though. K-Corp doing a good job of surviving. Onto 2hoyrz. They commit for this one. Forces the flash into the rest of his team. Takes him down, and Cinkrof will survive with his ultimate. Now in goes Mersa. They're looking for a little bit more. SuppUp aren't done just yet, but Mersa has to back away. The rest of the team not on the same page here. 5v4 in favor of K-Corp, and over to the Baron, to the Dragon, sorry, they go.
Yeah, it was a pretty close fight there. K-Corp ended up winning it. They were so split off. Adam and Targamas on one side, Maddie, Saken, and Cinkrof on the other. And SuppUp were grouped up, but they just didn't have the damage to take anyone down. Cinkrof living with the ultimate. Good combo from Mersa at the end, but just not enough follow-up. And 2hoyrz had nowhere to go. Ends up flashing, but still in range of Cinkrof. And K-Corp, they pick up the fight. They pick up a kill. But more importantly, now they have the Ocean Soul. So when it comes to starting up this Baron, they should be able to tank it pretty freely. And they should be able to win the majority of fights, unless there can be a little bit of healing reduction. But like I said, look at the side of this fight. Adam and Targamas are split. I think Spooky wants to engage onto them. And they do manage to find some kind of engage and force them back. But 2hoyrz was the one who should have just kept committing to the play, because now he's the one that splits off from his team. And the Realm Mob comes out. Maddie actually dodges out of it, but in 2hoyrz' flash, he was still in range of Cinkrof. And like I said at the end, the combo from Mersa was really good, but 2hoyrz is dead. There's not enough follow-up. And this was a decent fight for SuppUp. I just think 2hoyrz kind of mispositioned towards the end.
Honestly, I think that fight being so close is a testament to SuppUp with how far behind they were. Getting caught out here is not a testament to them. Mersa managing to dodge the stun, but it's not going to do much for him. Adam now looking for a little bit more with the under 2 going in, but 2hoyrz TP's in. And it's going to be a TP coming out from klowny as well. Looking for a flank. This is 4v4 for now, because Matty's not right here. klowny manages to dash out, stun across the team. It's going to be a stopwatch out from Adam as well. Spooky now throwing some spears, trying to find a little bit more. Remember, it's 4v5. KC have the numbers advantage right here, and they can look towards this Baron.
Yeah, starting up the Nash. SuppUp don't have many ultimates to work with. They have the Syndra ultimate and the Killer Instinct if they can find the engage, but there's no Mercer to find the engage. So klowny has his flash coming up soon. I wonder if they're waiting for the Renekton flash to come up to find the engage. And Saken is around the side with the Realm Mob. Looks like they don't want to start it up. They don't want to look at a throw. They don't want to make it too risky. And K-Corp instead just decide to push out waves.
And I am loving that SuppUp are not afraid of K-Corp here. They're happy to match Maddie. Getting real close to going down right there. Saken steps on forward, but he's pretty far forward by himself here. Dodging everything. In goes klowny onto Saken, but Zhonya's comes on through 2hoyrz. Incredibly low on HP right now. He's going to be the first one to go down. Adam looking for a little bit more as he jumps over towards Spooky as well, but he'll survive for now. SuppUp still living on Mersa. Practically invincible on the Alistar, but he's got nowhere to go. He will be finished off by Cinkrof. Look where Spooky is right now. They don't have vision of him, but they know he's in the area. Spooky will desperately look for a steal, but spotted out by the Zap here. Surely it's not possible. Surely they should be able to shut him down, but they're taking it low. They're going to coin flip this one. Spooky he fails the jump, Spooky, and his time of need goes down.
Yeah, hate to see it, but I think that if he walked closer to Targamas, he wouldn't have gotten over the wall anyway, because he would have got stunned up. So nice try from Spooky. Doesn't get over the wall, and SuppUp, they had to do something to turn this game around. They tried their best, but I think they're just too far behind. They managed to find some kind of engage, some kind of fight. They got the Killer Instinct on the backline. Saken pops to Zhonya's, and the carries are just way too far ahead. 3-item Jinx, just free hitting on the backline. And there was really not much SuppUp can do. They didn't have Mersa for this fight. They didn't have that key engage. He's just way too zoned off on the split side. 2hoyrz gets chunked out. And that's what I was talking about. They find the engage onto Saken. He gets stunned up, then he pops to Zhonya's. And from that point, Maddie's just free hitting. And that means SuppUp just have to run. And they just kept losing members because they're just so split up.
A rough one here for SuppUp, and it feels like every single fight that we've seen in the last 10 minutes, it's been these long, drawn-out engages where SuppUp are constantly trying to test K-Corp, but this is the kind of team that you don't get to test mechanically. Like, every single player on this K-Corp roster is a mechanical genius themselves. Like, all of them have been popping off across the course of EU Masters. And Spooky, unfortunate on the little leap there. That was a bit dicey from K-Corp, I'm not gonna lie. 50-50ing that when you know Spooky's nearby. But 2hours now, one shot away from going down. Jumps away with the Realm Warp in, and Cinkrof over the wall. This is looking like K-Corp are evening out the series here. Even VZZ found by Cinkrof, who dives across the back line. You just can't stop the blue wall. They charge everybody down on SuppUp. Mersa, you might be rank 1, but that ain't gonna save you now, buddy. It's gonna be the inhib down in the mid lane, and K-Corp should even out the series.
Yeah, they have a wave, they have their Baron. 4 members of SuppUp dead for 30 seconds. This should be the win for K-Corp, tying up the series. And SuppUp, they need to change up their draft plan. Maybe they want to choose blue side now. Maybe Jinx is the key to this series, but Renekton definitely isn't.
Wow, what a performance coming out from K-Corp here in game number 2. Utter chaos in the early game, but they were able to wrangle the chaos. They were able to control that chaos, get themselves a lead, and then once we got beyond sort of 15 minutes, it felt like SuppUp didn't have control of any point in the game beyond that stage. It felt like K-Corp, once they got ahead, they took over.
Yeah, definitely. And you could just see the way K-Corp played the game, right? You could see Cinkrof taking 3 camps, looking for the early aggression towards top side, making sure plays happen, using his bot prio, playing towards top side the majority of the early game. But once they got the early game towards top, snowballing, Adam was in a comfortable position, he was ahead. That's when they translated their pressure towards bot side with the TPs and making sure that they make sure xMatty is safe and xMatty's ahead.
Yeah, really beautiful stuff coming out from them in 2 hours. Feels like this guy... Game number 1, unbelievable performance on the Syndra. Game number 2, I think it was 0-6 by the end of the game. So it feels like when he is given a lead, when he gets ahead in that early game, it'll look fantastic for him. The question is, can SuppUp get themselves ahead? Can they match this K-Corp early game that K-Corp have built themselves a reputation of across the course of EU Masters? We're going to jump into another break, but I'm happy to say we've got a series on our hands. We're going to 3 games in our second quarterfinal here for EU Masters. Don't go anywhere. We'll break that one down right after this.
Can't help myself, and I really want to show you that I want to get to know you. Believe what I told you, and I can't help myself when I look into your eyes. I see you don't want to fight it. There's no need to stop trying, because I'll never give up on you, even if that's what you want me to do. Give me a chance, cause I know I can prove, baby, the last thing I want is to lose you. Chance for love, and I know I need every single moment with you, cause I finally found the one that makes me feel at home. And so I'll never give up on you, even if that's what you want me to do. Give me a chance, cause I know I can prove, baby, the last thing I want is to lose you. And I can feel the pain inside of us. I promise I can change for your love. Oh baby, I don't mind, 'cause your love's so hard to find. I wanna make it right. Every last bit of my heart I give to you. Oh baby, I don't mind, 'cause your love's so hard to find. Baby, I wanna make it right. Every last bit of
All or nothing.
Welcome back, everybody, to EU Masters. We're going into game number 3. I'm Munchimals. I'm joined by Casual. SuppUp won the first game, but the blue wall is fighting back. Now even in the series. And K-Corp, remember, the favorite for the whole tournament. Now coming back in, it feels like maybe game 1 was a little bit rusty. Game number 2 felt way more solid from the squad.
Oh yeah, definitely. You could see their game plan coming into it with the Ryze. I think that was much more of a comfortable pick for Saken. He can actually start impacting the map, start using that realm mob to get around to the side lanes, going for the early top dives, forcing out the early TPs. And this play for me actually meant a lot because 2hoyrz TP top to cover the dive, and then he gets ganked from the enemy bot lane after flashing earlier on. And then Saken from that point onwards just has a free lane because Syndra into Ryze is actually a difficult matchup for the Ryze because you get out range. But from that point onwards, when your wave's bouncing into you and the Syndra's dead with no flash, no TP, that just puts you in a good spot. And like we talked about during the game, using your TP advantage to defend the play on the opposite side of the map. Adam TPing towards the bot side, defending the play. Saken using the realm mob, picked him up 3 kills. And I think this play is what cracked open the game for K-Corp.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. And Targamas especially, really, really great fights across the game from him. It felt like this Leona definitely a pick that he can really excel on. And this early game was so chaotic. We saw both teams more than willing to just TP everyone in and just extend these fights into complete brawls.
Yeah, it just felt like K-Corp were the ones creating the chaos, and SuppUp were the ones who had to decide whether they wanted to join it or just kind of avoid it. In the end, they joined it most of the time, but I felt like when they joined it, they were either too late or they just didn't have enough resources to fight it. And K-Corp were the ones choosing the fights, choosing the dives, choosing the engages, always had the number advantage from the early game onwards. And they just used their pushing lanes and their early game jungler in Zhao to just force the plays, force the fights, get the Drake, stack them up, and eventually SuppUp just had to fight. They had to find a fight, they had to contest the Drake, they had to contest the Baron, but in the end, K-Corp was in control in the majority of the game.
Yeah, the thumbs up coming out there from 2hoyrz during that last replay. He's like, managed to survive the rocket. He's like, ha ha ha, and then immediately gets flattened. I don't think that could have been worse timing for an emote to come out right there, but fantastic game coming out from K-Corp. But I think now, as we move towards game number 3, we're going to see a swap of sides. So suddenly things have to change, and I want to revisit a conversation we had way back before the series started, and that's that K-Corp love to prioritize that mid-jungle duo, and it feels like on the red side, it's a lot easier to grab that in a single rotation.
Yeah, definitely. But I think choosing blue side swaps up the draft. We saw 2 games of SuppUp on red side. It was almost like the same draft from both sides. Only K-Corp was the ones who adapted and first picked the Jinx away rather than giving it to them on the first rotation. So SuppUp picking blue side makes me wonder if they're going to first pick a Jinx. And I wonder if K-Corp just going to respond with a Jinx ban. They won with Jinx, they lost against Jinx, let's just take it out and just play standard League of Legends when the champ's out of it. The champ's not OP in the sense that it's like the most broken champion in the game, but it seems to be working in the series because it has really good scaling and it has a really decent lane phase. So there's not really too many counters like we saw Matty's Varus, a couple of dives towards bot, and the Jinx is just scaling into infinity. So I wouldn't be surprised to see K-Corp ban that away, but I think choosing blue side is definitely a good thing. I think SuppUp need to change something up.
All right, well, we'll see if SuppUp can change enough going into game 3. We're going to go into a quick break, and then we will return with the final game of this quarterfinal to see if the LFL will triumph or if the EBL are here to stay.